Hey guys, welcome back to some of my favorite days. My name is Corey if you're new. I live in a small town in Montana. I have 4 kids, ages adult down to toddler, and we are a one-income family. I'm a stay-at-home mom. This video has been requested by a couple of people. They would like to know how I make homemade dog food. This all started from a friend. The thought hadn't even occurred to me that I could do this. I'm not sure why, but a friend of mine makes her own homemade dog food, and once I wrapped my mind around that, I kind of just ran with it. And so this video is going to be about homemade broth and then how I turned that into dog food. And then in the second half of the video, I'm gonna finish talking about the end of the challenge, the 3 Rivers challenge that we did, since we are now into March, and some of the things that I liked about the challenge, some of the things that didn't go so great, and things that I'm actually gonna continue doing from what I've learned from the challenge. So come along and let's get into this whole dog food broth making. Hey guys, today I'm gonna go over taking homemade broth and all the way into dog food. So some of my favorite things to use are a Pyrex glass with a handle on it, a good metal strainer that has some support to it, and then a big mixing bowl. And I like it to be able to fit into the sink for less of a mess. I have a towel here with some jars for the broth to go into. I've been cooking the ham bone down in the crock pot for today's day 3. I have it boiling again just to be able to process it and distribute the fat, and also to make sure it creates a seal. Even though I'm going to put it into the fridge, I still like it if they seal themselves. So let's get going. Oh, I also have the clean Instapot liner ready for the bones to go in once I'm done. Okay, I found myself some good lids that I can reuse. And I had to grab a couple things to get the crock pot because it's hot. Now I just strain it out, and it's the bones and the fat and stuff. I have to pick out the bay leaves so those don't cook down in the dog food. There's one right there. Pretty sure there's 2 in here. But I just dump it right in to the insert. I'll look for that other bay leaf, but in the meantime, this is just bones and meat and ligaments and stuff that are left over from cooking the broth for 3 whole days. I'm gonna fill it up to right below the max line and then put it in my Instapot for 2 cycles. So I'll show you guys that too. Okay, so for the last few days, I have been pulling some of this broth out of the crock pot and using it, adding more water, cooking it down. I've pretty much made everything out of it, and I'm using the rest for dog food. So I'm gonna go ahead, and now it's still pretty steaming hot. It was boiling. I'm going to just carefully pour these real full into the jars. Clean the fat off the top and then let them sit here and seal themselves. And then I'm going to put them into the fridge. gotta clean the grease off the tops so that it's able to seal. The wax makes a good seal on there. These are pretty hot still to the touch. There we go. Okay, I mostly use it for dog food, so I have it out here in the garage, but I put the insert in there. And then I use this soup broth button here. It's 4 hours on high pressure, and I'll do 2 cycles of that. Here's that broth later in the day now. The tabs on them have all popped down and they're just barely warm. I'm gonna let them cool off a little bit more and then throw them in the fridge. Okay, so it's the next morning, time to feed animals. It ran 2 cycles last night. I came out and did another cycle. So I'm gonna go ahead and open it up and show you. Get this dog food out of the way here. And I have a stick, dog food stick. But I stir it around. And I get the bone that's left in there. And I can crumble it in my hands. So I know that it's safe for the animals to eat. It's made more broth on its own, just from being in the pressure cooker. So I'm going to go ahead now. I take the animals' food and they get nice hot broth over their food. That way it makes a little more room in the Instapot, because you can't have it filled to the max in order to do rice. It's too much volume in the Instapot. So you have to remove some of the liquid, which means the animals get some yummy broth. And then I'll show you, I add rice to it and start that batch. Okay, animals are fed. I've gotten rid of some of the liquid. It's from the 2/3 line, which is the pressure cooker max line, down to the half line. So it has enough room in it. And this is cheap rice, just cheap white rice. You can do brown rice, or you can do barley, or you can do anything that you want. It just all depends on what you want to spend versus quality. I do 2 cups in there. There's a lot of liquid. Stir it around. Make sure it's sealed, and then turn off what it was warm for, and I just hit the rice button. And that's it. I'll show you what it looks like when that's done. Okay, it's been a while later now. We got real busy, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what it looks like. I haven't opened it yet since we did the rice setting, so go ahead and open it now. And this is what it looks like. It's like meat, and the rice has soaked up all the broth, and it looks good. I have my trusty dog food stick here. I stir it up. Find the bone. Usually if I have a big bone like this, I'll just toss it out to the dog to eat it. If it's like chicken bones and stuff, usually at this point it's completely broken down. I can just stir it like this and the bones will actually just break down into bone meal. But now I've got meat, rice, broth. The bones break down into bone meal, so it's super healthy, nutritious. I think of it as more nutritious than store-bought food. However, I do still feed them store-bought food, I do 50-50, just to make sure they're getting everything technically, medically, that they might need in their food, but it at least saves 50% on my animal food bill. At the end of the Three Rivers Challenge. I wanted to check in. I wanted to go over things I liked about the challenge, things I didn't like about the challenge. It is my first time, so I'm still learning. And then I did take some notes just so that I didn't forget any of the stuff that I wanted to tell you guys. So we did 2 months with one stock up in between. I've never done the challenge before. I would like to thank Jessica from the Three Rivers Homestead for including all of us small creators and getting us out there and getting us involved. And I also, one of the other things that I really liked about it was just knowing that I could do it. So I was really nervous about jumping in. I didn't feel prepared at all. But I found out after the first month that I could do it again. So I did another month after a little bit of a stock up. But now that it's over, I've realized that we really didn't need all the things that we stocked up on before we did the month of February's challenge. So that was reassuring. I do like knowing that I could sustain us for a little while if something happened to us. I really like that feeling of knowing now that we've done this challenge that the preparing that I do throughout the year really would benefit us if something were to happen. It also gives me a clear goal and a clear plan for stocking up for this next year. Sometimes when you're just blindly stocking up on things, it can feel a little bit like hoarding, and I like having a goal at the end or a plan for going through and using up the things that I do stock up on. It also makes me feel a lot more organized, I found, going through this. I started taking a lot more notes than I ever did before, and it gave me the inspiration to continue to get more organized as we go on. I really like that. Okay, for the things that I liked and that I didn't like, I really liked that 10-pound bag of organic carrots that I stocked up on. They were the big, long slicing carrots. They lasted a long time. They were very cheap. It was $9 for 10 pounds of carrots. It's a long storage item, so we had it in there for, I think, 6 of the 8 weeks, and I really liked the convenience of it, and also we realized we really like roasted carrots. So that's something I'm going to continue on with and continue to keep in the fridge since the challenge, just for convenience and the fact that we liked it so much. Our cases of fruit, they lasted way longer than I expected. I thought that we would be out of fruit right away. Both cases lasted almost the entire 2 months. I ended up making a lot of applesauce, which is fine. And then we ended up juicing a lot of the oranges, but we found that the longer they sat, the more juice they extracted from the peels, and therefore the juicier they were. We ended up making a lot of orange juice. We actually bought a juicer and we were talking about continuing to have cases of fruit in the house. So the things that I didn't like are the convenience foods. Once we run out of convenience foods, it is so much harder on the person that's making the food. I had to continue to be on all of the time. If I wanted convenience for me to take a break, I had to pre-plan that and have convenience foods already made and available so that I could get a break. And so I think that was probably towards the end of the challenge, I got really tired of making everything from scratch, and I got really tired of filming. But I really like to cook from scratch, and I made a lot of things that I haven't made before. I made a lot of things that I make all the time. So I know once I get just a small break, which I've already had a couple days of frozen pizzas we bought and just pre-made salads and things like that to kind of just give me a break from all of the cooking and the making our prepared foods like the breads and the tortillas and all that stuff, because I have to make them every day, almost every single day, for us to keep up on it. So that was really the only thing that I found that I didn't like about the challenge. I really liked it. I really liked going through everything. I'm still pulling stuff out of the freezer. I'm still going through the cabinets and trying to use up the oldest things. That was something that I was hoping I would get from the challenge, and I did. So that's it. I really enjoyed it. I'm actually already looking forward to next year's challenge. So look forward to that. I recommend it. I'm going to see if I can get some family members to join in with me next year and participate in the challenge. And that was it. I really liked it. I'm going to do it again. Thanks, Jessica. Now that the challenge is over, I did a little deal stock up, which I was really excited to do. I got all these snack bags here. Mostly I stocked up on snacks, which is what I do when I go through my cashback deals and stuff. I got some of these, and of course some of the stuff that we were actually needed and were out of. I loved these carrots from the challenge, and then all of this meat. Tonight's lunch/dinner is gonna be this vegetarian fed chicken that I found 50% off. So it comes out to about $5. I'm gonna round up $5 for baked chicken tonight. And then I got these bell peppers, $1 a piece. I'm gonna go ahead and saute them up for our veggie.